Welcome to the October 16, 2025 Rainbow Lakes Estates Advisory Board Meeting. We ask that you silence electronic devices and step outside to take calls. Outbursts or interruptions are not permitted. Please take your seat and help us maintain a respectful and productive meeting. Thank you for being here. Agenda and public comment guidelines. Registered speakers have 5 minutes. Those signing up at the door have 2 minutes. Non-agenda items may be addressed during the public comment toward the end of the meeting. Please state your name and address, submit any support documents to the staff assistant, and note that all remarks and materials become part of the official record. Respectful conduct reminder: personal attacks against staff, board members, or volunteers will not be tolerated. Please keep comments respectful within your time limit and focused on meeting-related issues. Thank you for your cooperation. Board meeting conduct for members and guests. If you wish to speak to someone in the audience during the meeting, please address the chair first. Direct conversation with board members or public speakers is allowed during the agenda or public comment portion without going through the chair. We ask that all electronic devices be silenced and not used during the meeting. Thank you for helping us maintain a respectful and orderly environment. Okay, the invocation. Holy One, known by many names and beyond all names, we thank you for every seat filled here today and for each mind and heart gathered in this room. You alone know what we are here to accomplish. We have our plans, ideas, talents, and time, but only you see the full picture. The end of every beginning, the purpose in every project, every season, and every life. We thank you that nothing is in vain. And even our mistakes can be used for good. Forgive us our pride, whether it puffs us up or makes us feel unworthy. Strengthen our confidence in who you have created us to be, and free us from comparison so that we may work together with unity and purpose. Bless this meeting, those present, and all the residents, volunteers, and employees of Rainbow Lakes Estates. Make our efforts today ripple outward in ways that uplift and serve others. Prepare us to make every moment count. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Tiffany, can you take the roll call, please?
Amber Bolander. Kathy Bryant.
Here.
John Connor.
No.
Alan McKay.
Here.
Dallas Sivelin.
Here.
Steve Stritzinger.
Here.
Dan Wilcherson.
Here. Here.
Yeah, turn it on, Dan.
Okay, thank you, Tiffany. Moving on, for the board members, when you guys, for clarity for the minutes, when you guys go to speak, you're gonna have to say your names before you speak, so that could help with the minutes. Thank you. Okay, public comment on agenda items? None? Okay, approval of minutes. Are there any questions or corrections to the September 18th, 2025 minutes? If none, may I have a motion to approve, followed by a second?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, moving on to advisory committee reports. Vice Chairman Alan George McKay, Roads and Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pardon me, my throat might be a little scratchy, so it might be kind of hard to hear.
Yeah, I'm having an issue myself.
Yeah, it's time of the year. Fire and rescue incidents for July were 9 fire and 42 medical, with 2 of the incidents being in Station 14. I received the following from Kevin Marquez, professional engineer at FDOT. The new traffic signal for Rainbow Lakes continues to move forward in design. We approved the design team to move into the next phase of design, and they are preparing a 90% submittal now. We look in good shape to have final plans ready for spring 26. In other news, our on-demand construction contract will go to bid this month, and we included all the construction activities for Rainbow Lakes in the list for the bids. By your next update request, we should have determined our lowest bidder. That's assuming they meet the requirements. Road conditions continue to be of a concern. Marine Boulevard at the east end has many potholes with patch upon patch applied. We don't have frost heave here, so I suspect the roadbed may be the problem. I contacted Pete Hodges, and he advised to contact the office of the county engineer. We go and go and go. I got a call back from Randall Pinkston from the county engineer office. He advised he had just filled the holes and that is all they can do. We need to go to the county as it is in their, it is their road. Katie, can we get a word to Chad? We need to get with the county and find out what we can do about it, because the road's deteriorating quickly. I think it wasn't that long ago that it was paved, and I don't know if we got some legal ramification or remedy there or not. Okay, thank you. As some of you may be aware, we're in a construction boom. Contractors or the subcontractors are breaking the sides of some of our streets. We have been told that when inspections are done, the condition of the road is one of the conditions of completion. The contractor must cause the road to be repaired at their expense. If any of you see these gouges in our roads, you can report them to the office and they can advise the building department. Finally, if you see it, report it. As we have seen so many times in this past, when something is amiss and nobody reports it, there will be no action and the taxpayer gets stuck with the bill. That's you folks. This applies to road reports, condition of the buildings, and police activities. We are getting very good cooperation from the Marion County Sheriff's Department. Thank you, Lieutenant Vogel. And this is their advice as well as the board's. If you see it, report it. Thank you. That's it.
You're not going to do the fire report?
You did.
I did.
Oh, of course. I'm sitting right here reading it.
See, I got 2 jobs, so I put them all in one.
I meant to show you this. Talk about a typo.
Oh.
Okay. Katie, several years back, there was an agreement made with the county roads department and ours that in an emergency situation, our roads department could patch potholes on truck routes.
Okay.
Maybe you want to check to see if that's still
Absolutely.
floating around out there. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. John Connor, Buildings and Grounds, is not here today. Steve Stretzinger, Code Enforcement.
So, start with this. All right, how's that? Good? All right, so I don't have a code enforcement report to present. And the reason I don't have a code enforcement report to present is that, number one, I haven't seen any duties, responsibilities, expectations from the board or the county of what that position is. It's my understanding that that would come from this board of what you expect or the board expects out of a code enforcement committee member. I have no problem doing those things, but I need to have that document. That's the first point. The second point is
the office should actually have a document that says what every board member would earn.
okay.
So there should be something in the office.
But with that, as we saw at the last board meeting, there would seem to be a disconnect between the board and what the board expects the code enforcement individual to do. Because there's no more anonymous reporting within Marion County as of approximately 2 years ago. And the code enforcement office, is my understanding, does not want to see or hear code violations going through the staff. So it's imperative and it's required by the individual who sees the action to report that action so that it can be followed up on. So I make a motion right now until we figure out what the board would like to see from code enforcement, is that position be removed or better identified. because I don't believe that there's anything that I can provide that would be a benefit to the board or the residents of Rainbow Lakes.
Right, well, I don't think you need a motion for that. I'll take that under consideration and, you know, see what we can do with that.
Because, and just one more point, because it's my understanding that each one of these positions is a sub-position of this board. So if the board wanted a position to be built to look at playground equipment, they would then build or appoint a playground committee, and that committee would then meet to discuss those things. So I think this is now, after 2 years, has been a holdover. I don't really see it producing anything of value to this board.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Dan Wilshusen, Levy County Representative.
Got a nice start off with code enforcement. We don't have any unaddressed code issues in our area right now. We did have a magistrate hearing yesterday, and there is a property in the Levy County section of RLE that does have a history of habitual and multiple violations on their property, and it was one of the cases against the magistrate yesterday. The outcome of that, of course, is yet to come. We don't know. Road maintenance, I'm still waiting to hear back from Chad regarding the triggers for adding a street road to the longer range budgetary process for repavement of the roads. I know I did talk to Bill. Bill has gone out, he's looked at them too. So he's like, yeah, he agrees that this is gonna be an issue and we'll have to figure out what the trigger is and then begin with next steps. Also, I wanna give him kudos, him and his staff. They did take care of the encroaching sand on Southeast 114th Place. Some of you may remember it as Pensacola. Did an amazing job. So the safety hazard that was out there has been mitigated. I'm not sure how long that will last. Even when I was talking to Bill, it's one of those type things where it's like it was not, when they put the driveway in, it wasn't ramped or trenched correctly. So the more rain and everything that we get, it's still gonna wash back down. So it'll be an ongoing issue until that's addressed. And I don't even know how to do it because we're not sure if it's Marion or I think it's Levy County property. So public safety, we have nothing going on in our area. All the signage and everything is fine. Now that we have finance on the Marion side, I still have some finance questions that are still pending out there. I know that year end is still ongoing because we go from year end into audit. I understand that. I just want to put my word out and say I'd like to get a copy of those P&Ls and finance reports for the fourth quarter as soon as they're available. And just a tickler reminder that I am also still waiting for the account nomenclature and or reports that show our rental income because I'm not seeing that on the standard P&L reports. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you, Dan. Kathy Bryant, Recreation Representative.
The Fibercraft Society with Jennifer Coca meets on the second and fourth Saturdays from 12 to 3 p.m. to Creative Arts Building. They do knitting, crocheting, and other fiber crafting items. The Pins and Needles Stitchers Club, Marcy McKay, meets on Mondays from 10 until 2 p.m. They do beautiful quilts and clothes and things. Poker Club meets on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 to 3 at the Creative Arts Center. Larry Hoffman can answer any of your questions. His phone number is 352-208-8766. The Domino Club meets on Friday nights from 7 p.m. here in the Community Center complex. Contact Agent Colin at 352-229-0753 for more information. And on Tuesdays, the Tater Tots from 10 until noon at the Community Center for the little ones. It is free and it's open to the public. They don't have to be residents out here. The Youth Center is open on Wednesdays and Fridays from 4 to 6 p.m. Currently, there is a nominal charge of $5 a year for a resident and $10 for non-residents. Kayaks are available to the public for rent Mondays through Fridays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Rental is $25 for 4 hours and $5 for each additional hour. The fitness center on Ivy is open 24/7. I have photographs of the equipment. The building is very spacious and clean. Registration appointments for the residents are available at the office across from this building. Currently, the annual fee is $25 for 1 year or $50 for 2. On October the 21st, there will be a plant swap from 5:30 to 6:30. It's open to the public, and it's here. Bring a plant and swap a plant. And I believe they're going to have a speaker next week. So that should be very interesting. Starting January the 7th, 2026, Rainbow Lakes Dungeons and Dragons Club will meet at the Creative Arts Center at 7 p.m. Dues will be $10 for residents and $15 for non-residents. For information, contact David Harris at 352-445-18878 or Robert Howard at 352-464-5003. And as always, we need volunteers to help with recreational activities. Requires a level 1 background check, and Rainbow Lakes pays for that. And that's what I have.
Thank you, Kathy. Amber Bunlinger, Finance and Planning Representative. Amber, did you get a list of the responsibilities?
No, I haven't received a list from.
Jen, could you look through the files in the office and find out if you can come across those? Okay, thank you. If not, I'll look at home too, but I don't know if I have them.
I'll check, I don't know
Yeah,
if it was reported.
they existed at one time.
Yeah, I have a copy. Sorry, Will's using, I have a copy of them too, so.
You have a copy?
Yeah.
So yes,
Sorry.
list of duties, responsibilities of the Finance and Planning Committee would be very helpful, especially since I am new to the board still and I need to understand my position in that role. I understand from Dan's comments that year-end is still ongoing audit process. I agree, I do need to see the fourth quarter P&L reports, the rental income, and that's, Chad did get with me on sending me the budget, for Rainbow Lake Estates, and I believe he may have sent me the 5-year plan, but I have not opened up that particular email at this moment. So, I may or may not have it, and if I don't, I will reach out and make sure to get back.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Amber. Okay, moving on. Municipal Services and RLE Staff Reports. Katie Burton, the Municipal Services Community Manager.
Katie Burton, Community Manager. I do have our staff report, including our numbers for participation from August and September. For the fitness center in August, we had 230 check-ins. For September, we had 247. The youth center has 75 check-ins in August, 39 in September. Plant Swap had 10 participants in August, 13 in September. The Domino Club had 48 in August with 31 in September. Poker Club with 21 for August, 56 for September. Private Practice Society with 23 for August and 20 for September. Tater Tot Tuesday with 78 for August and 82 for September. I do want to highlight that as huge numbers from our staff here, so very proud of those. Pins and Needles Stitchers Club with 32 for August and 27 for September. Our September meet had 120 participants, with September having a total of 635 check-ins and participation points, I guess, for the month. So, moving on to expenses and revenues. In the RLE General Government Fund, we have $336,319 in expenses, with $1,568,884 in revenues and a balance of $1,232,564. For the recreation budget, we have $85,671 in expenses with $457,66 in revenues for a balance of $365,094. And in the road and street budget, we have expenses of $472,745 with revenues of $2,387,725 for a balance of $1,914,979. For the work orders, shout out to Bill's team for keeping those under control for us. The month of September, we had 4 closed orders and 4 remaining open. I did speak to Bill, there's been a lot of rain, so they haven't gotten some things. And then year to date, we have 53 closed and 8 total open work orders. The community center has 14 rentals booked to date this year and 6 at the pavilions. And then I believe Jennifer has some updates for us as well. I'm going to pass it over to her.
Sure. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello. Jennifer speaking, Community Center Supervisor. The park signs that we discussed previously that were requested are in production with the manufacturer, so we should see those coming out hopefully within the next couple of weeks. I'm waiting on them to get the materials for the sign, and they will be up to standards as the ordinance says. Additional garbage cans that you guys have requested have been secured across the properties. Kudos to McGeller Buildings and Grounds guy. The only can that we were unable to place is the one by the dock because there is nothing to secure it to, but he is exploring that right now. So he's working on that. Also, we have, obviously, TOTS has been growing, so you can see that program has been increasing over time, as well as our Super Saturday program has launched. Another thing that you've requested in the past is the refinishing of the fitness center approach, and that was completed by Bill's team. So
Yes.
That's evened out, so you don't have a lumpy entry in there anymore. And then also, one more thing. We have our pumpkin planning for Super Saturday on October 18th, which is a painting project that is coming in for the youth. So just want to give a shout out to that. Bridget worked on that for us, our recreation leader. Also, October 25th, we have Spectacular Halloween. We have over 15 trunk or treat participants now, somewhere around 18 to 20 candy stops, as well as 4 different crafts, s'more station and photo station inside, and 5 outdoor carnival-like games and prizes, so we're super excited. So hopefully everyone comes out. That is a free event. And then also on November 8th, we have our Fall Craft Festival, which is mostly sold out on vendors inside, and we have about 30 outdoors. The pony rides have returned this year, which is awesome, as well as we will have the youth center open as well at the Fall Fest this year. 2 bounce houses. Unfortunately, we will not have the train this year because it is under service. But that's why we are opening up the youth center to the public. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. What is a candy station?
Where you get candy.
Did you forget that?
It's a trick or treat station. I just call it a candy station because I'm used to Disney World. Sorry.
I just want, and I think we could rope Katie into counting how many people attend.
We'll have counters.
We have a clicker. All right, thank you. Moving on, our special committee guests are Dana Olesky, the Chief Assistant County Attorney, and Lieutenant Julie Bullwinkle, Marion County Sheriff's Office. And we'll start with Lieutenant Bullwinkle.
Hi,
Hi.
Julie Bellinger, Marion County Sheriff's Office. I missed the last meeting, unfortunately. Deputy Ben Venuti filled it for me. He passed on that you guys were looking to have the speed trailer back out here. Unfortunately, right now it's being repaired. Well, they're trying to repair it. If it can't be repaired, you might have to replace it. I'm trying to find a loaner in the meantime, so I'm working on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have anything else.
Any crime?
You guys have some.
We don't get a breakdown of what happened on Rainbow Lakes Boulevard?
I do have a question.
Sure.
How are we doing on crime related to the western part of the county and then the county as well?
The county as a whole, I can't really answer for every district. Every district kind of has its fair share of issues, whether it be car burglaries or vacant home burglaries.
Out here, you guys are sitting pretty well. It's always the same. It's usually not, a public safety issue. It's usually domestics, related incidents. We get our fair share of, suspicious incidents or suspicious persons we get called to. There's always residential burglaries in every area. I think there were a couple in this area. But again, it's more the vacant homes, not somebody just breaking into somebody's home.
Is there more domestic incidents that's happening here?
Yes, everywhere.
Everywhere?
The entire county, that's probably one of the top issues, that and mental health. The Baker Acts, Marchman Acts, that would be our top calls that we go to. Sometimes assisting the elderly as well. In this area, you guys there's really not a lot of reported crime in this subdivision. Most of it is relatives, known people, whether it be a domestic or, my son was kicked out, but he came back and stole my ring, something like that. Not just random.
Thank you very much.
Tiffany, that was Steve. Ask those questions. Dana, do you have anything you want to say, or just wait till we get to old business, right? Which I think most of this falls under you. Okay, moving on. Old business. Boat ramp fees and penalty ordinance. The board had discussed the Tiger Lake boat launch fees and ordinances for over 2 years. In agreement with the municipal services staff, the board concluded that mirroring the county's fees and ordinances is the best solution. Dana Oleski, Chief Assistant County Attorney, is present tonight, and hopefully she can provide an update.
Good evening. So, I know it's been a few meetings ago that we had a discussion about bringing back some of the fees that our Marion County Parks and Recreation charge throughout Marion County. In January of this year, the Board of County Commissioners approved an updated Parks and Rec fee, and then a separate Southeastern Livestock Pavilion known as the SELP. Obviously, the SELP is more event generated, so there's also some, what I would call some of the higher fees being charged at SELP, as well as if there's a campground at SELP, and there is the use of alcohol is permitted at SELP for certain events. So those fees probably are a little higher than what we're looking for here, what I would believe the board would be looking for. Now, with the parks fees themselves, they're a little unique because most of the parks that are included in this have either a water part to it, like Gore's Landing, and then some also have water and swing sets and other types of things. So when they were building this fee resolution, it was kind of hard to factor all of those things in. So where the board landed is, for majority of the parks under the county's purview, not including anything here in Rainbow Lakes Estates. It includes Kearney Island, Recreation and Conservation Area, Gore's Landing, Hampton Beach, Horseshoe Lake Park and Retreat, Moss Bluff North, Moss Bluff South, and Railway Side. And Hope Boat Ramp is only accessible to those that have an annual county park pass, not for individual day users. But the fees are daily entry fee per vehicle, up to 8 passengers. And that includes a vehicle, a boat, a trailer, and up to 8 passengers. And it is only $7 per day. Then additional passengers, $2 per person. Walk-in, bicycle, vessel, or watercraft is $2 per person. Then there is the annual county park pass, which I don't think would be applicable here, but that is the majority of the parks. There are separate fees for KP Hole, obviously, because of the amenities that KP Hole brings with it. Daily entry fee for KP Hole, $7. But it is the actual, there's other things that, happen at KP Hole with regards to, I'm trying to scroll down, the tubing packages are also part of that. So individual tubing packages are now in the $30 range, group tubing, $25, so $7 entry, and then other activities that they have different fees for. So looking at those fees are pretty nominal. It's more than what you're charging right now for a boat ramp fee, but that would be something for the board's consideration. Because it is in an ordinance, it does require an ordinance change. So what I'm looking for on the boat ramp specifically is a motion from the board, this board. What would you like the boat ramp fees to be? What would be your recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners? And then bringing that back into the ordinance, which requires about I would say it's anywhere from a 60 to 90 day process based on the timing of the meetings. And that would be something that the Board of County Commissioners would have to consider. And obviously they're going to give deference to what the desire of this board here tonight is with regards to the boat ramp fees.
Right. And the current fees are $1 a year
$1.
and $50 for non-residents?
So $1 for residents, $50 for non-residents.
Opinions, people. Now, we did vote on this once before, and the prices were a little ridiculously high. We were higher than some of the county prices.
Oh, absolutely. Will Schusen. I absolutely agree with that, okay? And my take on it was that since, yes, we understand this is it's not necessarily a private community. We're not a gated community, but the lakes are part of our pull, our draw here. However, I think that the current fee structure is completely out of whack. I think that $50 is an exorbitant amount of money to charge anyone to launch into these lakes. So my request on it was that it mirror more of the standard for Marion County. And considering what you're comparing it to, Dana, I would say that the 7 and 2, 7 and 3,
7 and 2.
that would be more where I would want to fall.
And also too, just to kind of talk about the difference between Marion resident and non-Marion resident, when it comes to the park pass, including all the parks, the board charges $50 for a Marion County resident, but $100 for non-Marion County residents. So that's how they've kind of worked with the resident versus non-resident, just for the board's consideration as well.
And what is your suggestion?
That we mirror Will Schusen. What's your name?
I don't think I have to say my name. My voice carries.
What I'm saying is that I think we need to mirror Marion County, and the one that is more like our ramp, our setup. We have, the parking for the vehicle, the trailer, we have the ramp, we have those necessity items that still require a certain amount of maintenance. And they're charging $7 for like a motorized vehicle. It sounds like, a boat with a
Dana, is
motor.
that 7 a year?
And
Or
no, it's
Per
day
day
pass.
per vehicle.
Right.
Per day per vehicle, and
Well,
then.
we don't have the ability to charge per deputy.
No.
No, we don't.
We're talking yearly.
Right.
So the park pass, which would be the annual pass for Marion County to include all of those parks that I listed at the beginning, is $50 for Marion County residents, $100 for non-Marion County residents. And there was some discussion in talking with Katie that, a lot of the time, there is, honor boxes at some of the parks. And I can tell you that Marion County recently went through an audit that talked about moving away from the honor boxes and and doing something more like a QR code, or kind of like how you're doing at most places you go to park now, especially downtown or Pella, where you're doing QR code, you're going onto an app and you're paying. So that is something that from countywide, for any type of service that we're doing, that is the direction that our clerk's office, which is our comptroller in charge of all of our money, is suggesting that even parks start to go to. And Parks has similar issues where you talk about some of these parks, you're way out there and you're operating off the Wi-Fi and internet service that you have from the county. So it's going to be challenging in some areas, but that is the ultimate goal, is to get to a place where everything is done digitally and you're not relying on an honor box and you're not relying on having to walk over to staff and pay a park ranger.
And therein lies, sorry, Lil Shoes, and therein lies part of our issue, is that we don't currently have the infrastructure to support even that model. You know, I mean, if we did, that would be the solution right there, but I don't know. I think there has to be some sort of happy medium. What we currently have is just too expensive. I understand that they're yearly fees.
You're saying the non-resident fee is too expensive,
Correct.
because $1 is too.
Yeah, the dollar, yeah, because we're all paying in to maintain these lakes as it is, okay? So I kind of get that, but the $50 for non-resident to launch in our, and then not to have that, it's like trespassing and all the rest. It just, I don't know, it just seems a little bit severe for me.
Yeah, George, $50 is just ridiculous. That's way too much. And as Dan said, we are paying fees for recreation now, so if you have to have a fee, $1 is just fine. If somebody can't afford $1 to launch a boat for a year.
I have a
Sorry.
couple questions, real quick. The dollar that we're paying as residents, does that cover are we getting a sticker still?
Yes.
So is that dollar that we're paying a year, is that covering the cost of the sticker? So.
The dollar isn't intended to cover the cost of anything, it's really just to have,
I
sorry,
understand.
for their skin in the game, for them to go get their permit.
Say it again, please.
It's really to ensure that residents actually go get their permit, they have to.
I understand that, but if it was
Right.
$2, it still wouldn't be too much, and it would offset the cost of the sticker. That was my first question.
Right.
My second question is to staff. Doesn't the QR code system already exist in Marion County? Isn't Marion County already using the QR code somewhere else to collect fees?
I'm not sure.
Because if the QR system is currently being used in Marion County, then there's your solution, I would assume, because all it requires is a QR code. It doesn't
Correct.
require internet. It doesn't require any other infrastructure other than a sign with the QR code posted on it, and then Marion County can collect those fees. And I agree that the $50 fee is probably in excess. What it should be, I think that's a more in-depth debate. $7 is probably me. But I wonder if the QR code is being used in Marion County, and if so, what is the process for us to go ahead and piggyback on top of that QR code system?
I can find out for you, but I can tell you that in simple terms, we think of a QR code being very simple. It's not that simple when you talk about the budgeting and the documentation that goes behind being able to pull that money in. So we are moving, the county as a whole is moving towards a new payment system. It should be done, I believe, around November 1st. Parks and Rec was one of those departments that had not fully transitioned to the new payment, which is one of the reasons why there was a suggestion of looking at a different way to accept those payments. Previous to November 1st, we had a contract that required we could only take payments either via cash or through a particular payment vendor.
Okay.
So we are transitioning to that, so there may be some departments that are using the QR codes, but it may not be parks specifically, I would have to check on that.
Personally, we use QR codes
That's Steve.
a lot for retail sales, and I understand the county is much bigger, but I would really think that that would be something that we should look into.
Fine, I mean, as long as we have connectivity out there, and that was my only concern.
That's not our responsibility, because I'm just saying, we don't have to put a cell phone tower up, is what I'm saying. Because if you have cell phone coverage, you have cell phone coverage, and then you can apply for you can process it.
All right, Dana, if you can find out more information about that, and we will keep this going.
So, but let me ask this,
Bondlander, I just wanted a clarification question from you. You said that Marion County residents can pay for an annual fee to go to all the parks, but non-residents pay $100 fee instead of the Marion residents paying $50, correct?
right, it's 50 versus 100.
So in our unique situation, we have Levy County as part of our residents. So are you saying that Levy County residents, to use the lakes that they're maintaining, they have to buy the $100 pass?
You would define that in your ordinance. I think the way the ordinance is set up right now is it is the residents of the Rainbow Lakes Estates Municipal Service District. So you would want to specifically spell that out of the residents of the district, because the district is obviously across both counties. So you would define your residents that way, versus just Marion County residents.
Perfect, thank you for answering that.
You're welcome. But I do want, Mr. Chair, so I'm not getting a consensus from you all as to where you're landing on this. If in a perfect world, we could do it with a QR code and it was something that we would be capturing everybody that's coming through.
I'm a little confused to one fact. If we did something like a QR code, wouldn't they be paying every time they went through that gate?
No, that's,
Look at it like paying for parking on the street now. So now you don't drop money into a meter, now you scan a QR code, put your license plate in there, and you spot it when you pay for that thing. You drive away, you go eat lunch, you come back, you do it again. This would be the same thing. So they'd show up one day, they use the QR code, they show up another week later, they'd use the QR code again and process payment.
So it would be each time they went
Each
through
time they
the...
went through. Yep.
Okay.
And now it would be different for the residents because the residents would get a buy because they already have the sticker.
Well, I would think if we're going with the QR code, it would be for all.
No, because residents are paying $1 because we're already paying the taxes for the facility.
Exactly.
And my only statement is, if stickers are costing $3 a piece, I don't think we should be paying $1. I'm not here to just lose money on it.
I don't know, I lean more toward just setting these prices, this has not been addressed since 1988.
Well,
I think-
with that in mind, I question whether or not there's an issue.
I think that we should just more or less go with the stickers with a yearly fee for residents and a yearly fee for non-residents. I think that's the simplest solution, and they go to the office, they pay a fee.
I'm gonna get my glass on. The question from Dana is, what's the board's position on the non-residents' fees?
And it's twofold. You need, what is the position on a daily fee and what the annual fee is gonna look like, the annual pass, and what's the charge that you're gonna charge for Rainbow Lakes Estates residents, whether on Levy or Marion County side versus those that aren't. So if you're okay with, because what you're hearing from the Marion County side is, it doesn't matter if you're a resident or not, when you come in, if you don't have an annual pass, you're paying $7 plus $2 for a passenger. They're not really paying attention to whether or not you're a Marion County resident or not. So you could have the daily rate be the $7 and the $2, and then look at what you want your annual pass to look like for residents versus non-residents.
And they would get the daily pass through a QR code.
We would explore other ways to do that.
From a staff perspective, I also want to say we don't have a park ranger way Parks does, to go make sure that everyone has paid their daily QR code. That's where the permit and the sticker is kind of handy, that when we can swing by, that it's easy enough to see the permit on there. We don't have a park ranger monitoring use right now.
Which is why I think that basically what this comes down to is just adjusting the fees for residents and non-residents and continuing with the sticker system just the way it is. I don't think we need to make it more complicated.
George, we don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Yeah, keep it simple.
So what I really need is suggestions on what the fees for residents and non-residents should be. You think $50 is too high. I personally think $1 for residents is too low.
And here, Will Schusen, and here is where we have our disagreement, okay? It's like, they're already paying for these lakes. They already pay maintenance for these lakes. So why are we charging the residents more than $1? I'm fine with that. My concern is the non-resident fee of $50. It seems exorbitant to me.
So
And I've seen in other
why are we even
areas-
charging the $1 then, if we go under your concept?
So the dollar fee, again, my understanding was to offset the cost of the stickers. It's one of the reasons why it was so low for so long. Because we are, exactly right, we are paying the taxes. So if you want to use the boat ramp and all the rest of the stuff, the same argument we had last month about the gym, I'm already paying for it. Why should I have to pay for it again? So now we're paying for the gym, we're paying for the access. That's what the cost is, okay? So again, if the cost of the bulk of the stickers was $1, then we stay at $1 in my opinion. When it's the cost we have to buy new stickers, I understand it's a pain in the butt, but it costs us more money to buy stickers than we charge an additional money. And I agree 100%, we're already paying for them. But that's it. And I will support $7 per day per access. And I could really care less about the second seat. Because you just brought it up, is that we have nobody to enforce any of this.
Right.
So this is gonna be by chance, an incident with the sheriffs up there, or DPW, no, not DPW, Fish and Wildlife, FWC. That's gonna be the issue. And I doubt they're gonna call staff or anybody else to determine whether or not.
No, they're gonna look for the sticker on the back of that
Really
trailer.
think so? I doubt the sheriff's office is gonna care, and I definitely think that Fish and Wildlife is not gonna care whether or not there's a sticker there. They're gonna write the ticket or do their investigation and move on.
I don't know, they've been doing it for 60 years.
Can anybody put any input at all on this?
Taxpayers.
You can't launch a boat out there right now.
Come on up to the microphone. You gotta come up to the microphone and give your name.
Thank you.
Name and address.
My name is Joseph Zabrowski. I'm 24027 North Beach Road, just 2 streets over. Now, I agree with this man. We need to cover the cost of the sticker, okay? I totally agree with that. You can't launch a boat over there right now. I have a pontoon boat. I love fishing on Tiger Lake. I love go over in a little bottle. You can't even get across the lake, the canal, to get there, okay? So I think what the board needs to look at is, I agree, the rates should be a little bit higher to cover the stickers, but look at the accessibility. Our water supply hasn't been the best, okay? I mean, we haven't got, it's like we got a force field around us here. I mean, it goes to Willingston, it goes to Denellen, we don't get any rain. Tiger Lake is low, super low, okay? So the amount of people you're gonna get there to go there, maybe on a skiff or a daggone, a small boat. But I went with a friend of mine, Brian Moreland, which is a veterinarian down here in Denellen. We tried to get in his little John boat, we tried to go across the canal. We couldn't get there. The water is low. So I think we need to think about how much we charge people, $50. I think not really, like you said, a little high. But I think we should only raise the rate to compensate for what it costs for the stickers. And I agree with that whole, I 100%.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Question, do we even know what the stickers cost?
Well, the first question is, are we still using the same original batch of stickers? How many more stickers do we have?
I have 2 more batches.
We don't have to raise the cost of stickers to the residents anytime soon. But then we go back to the same question, which is, what was asked? Should we lower the rate? And that's what she needs, Dana needs to hear from us, is whether or not we should lower the rate, and if so, what that rate should be. Because it's gonna take her 60 to 90 days to come back with an answer.
Well, no, 60 to 90 days is to completion, to the board, the Marion County Board of County Commissioners approving an ordinance that would set in place what those fees are. What I would suggest is you would remove the dollar in the ordinance and then just have it set by resolution by the board so that you can adjust it no different than you do your parks. And I just want to make a point. For Marion County residents, they're already paying taxes for all the county parks. And the board still charges them a fee because it's for the usage of some of those fees. So it's no different, you're not treating the residents of Rainbow Lakes Estates any different than every other taxpayer in the county who pays to use certain parks. And there's reasons for that. It covers the use of park rangers. We don't have park rangers that sit at every single park every single day. They rotate. Some parks they hardly ever go to because not a lot of people utilize those parks. So that is something to keep in mind. You're not doing anything different than what Marion County does for all the other parks within its jurisdiction.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I don't know if we're gonna call it a point of order, but what I would like to do is suspend this for just 1 second and then make a motion what Ms. Dana just said to the board, which is to suspend, you need to help me,
Well,
but just for the residents thing, to remove the residents and then make that so that it can be adjusted by the board. So what did,
let me pull up.
Adjustment, I'm sorry, Will's using adjustment by resolution.
Adjustment by resolution.
okay, so I'll make a motion to remove the cost of the stickers for residents and then put it on the board. Go ahead and tell me what it was again. Adjustment by
Will's
resolution.
using adjustment by resolution.
There's 2 of us making this. So that's my motion for the board. So that'll fix the sticker problem for the residents.
And what about non-residents?
Let's just solve that
Oh,
first
seven,
problem.
okay. So, yeah.
I have a question, just to clarify. By non-resident, we're not talking about our snowbirds, are we?
No. If they own property here,
Yeah,
they're
if they
considered a
own-
resident.
If they own property
Okay.
and,
All right, but if they
Pay tax.
rent every year, you know, they're,
right.
okay, I just want to make that point.
Okay, so there is a motion for the board. I need a second and a vote.
Well, for that piece of it, I'll second that.
Okay. Motion made, seconded by Daniel Schusen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 0. So
And
motion
then
carries
I'll start with
unanimously.
this one. So then I'll make a motion that we change the non-residents rate from $50 annually to $7 daily for access to the boat ramp.
And how are we going to collect the $7?
How do we collect the $50?
They go to the office and they buy a sticker.
Then they go to the office and buy a,
The office is not open weekends.
and run the problem no matter how we do it. So if they want an annual pass, they still have to go to the office Monday through Friday. And if you want to give them a okay, so that was my motion.
But you're saying a daily
Yeah.
fee.
So so it doesn't work, does it?
I don't
So then
know.
we cut the rate, okay, so then I'll make a motion that we change the non-residents fee in half to $25 a year for non-residents. and they use the same system they are currently using to pay the $50 to launch a boat, the boat ramp.
All right, do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second that one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Can you repeat the motion?
And I think that's a good number.
The motion was to reduce, I'm sorry, I did it again, little shoes in. The motion was to reduce the non-resident fees from 50 down to 25. And that's still an annual.
So that would be leaving the residents at the dollar?
That would be putting the residents would be the motion to, it would be up to the board. Currently it's $1, yes ma'am, Counselor. And we don't intend to change that at this time, but we want the board to have the authority to do so in the future.
Right, so whatever the motions made thus far would be removing the amount of the fees from the ordinance, because the ordinance specifically says the fees shall be $1.50. So we're removing that, allowing it to happen by resolution, obviously changing, I think, to the gentleman's point, if something's happening and you can't actually use the boat ramps for a period of time, you would want to maybe adjust what that is, leaving it for $1 for Rainbow Lakes Estates MSD residents, $25 for the non-residents. To Ms. Bryant's point, the ordinance does point out that it's the on proof of residency and payment of the fees, and nothing would change about the way we're doing it. And just for everyone that's here, it does talk about the purpose of the fee is maintaining and repairing the boat ramps and parking lots, and for law enforcement activities on the lakes. Obviously in 1989, that was probably a lot different than it is in 2025, but it wasn't just to cover the cost of that, it was supposed to be that you're using those fees towards when you have to make repairs. But I will take this back and get a proposed ordinance for review.
To bring back to us for review?
I can bring it back to the board for review, or I can go ahead and bring it to the Board of County Commissioners for their direction on what they want to do with it.
You don't want to see this before?
No, I don't
No.
don't want to see it all. Let's just get back. You're either going to put the thumbs up or put the thumbs down.
Correct. Okay. Thank you. All right, 6B, the signage project. Jen actually already answered the question, so we're going to move past that. Oh, here's another good one. Youth Center and Fitness Center fees. The County Municipal Service Department recommends eliminating Youth Center membership fees. Should the board also consider removing all fees for the Fitness Center and the club memberships? And Dana Oleski, Chief Assistant County Attorney, is present tonight to address any questions and to advise on the next steps. All right, now last month, I pretty much can tell from, I polled the board members, and it seems we all agree that we should do away with the youth center fees. What was in question was whether or not we should do away with the fitness center fees. And I do have a question. We pay club membership fees. Where does this money actually go? What does it cover?
It's not meant to cover anything other than the club being able to use the facilities. I believe it's $10 a year for residents, so it's just their club membership. It goes into our rental revenue accounts.
Goes into which account?
The rental revenues, because when you have a club, they're using our facilities.
Great place for it, for sure.
Okay, so that
That's the account I'm looking for.
Yes.
What's that?
That is the account that I'm looking for.
So what do you all want to do about these fees?
This is George. I have no problem with eliminating youth center fees completely. There's no reason they have to be there. We want to encourage our youth to do things that are constructive, and I want to encourage that. As far as the fitness center, I'm a fitness center member. I've been using it. And $25 a year is not a bad price If you take and go down to a gym in town, you're paying a heck of a lot more than that, and you don't have the convenience. But 25 bucks, if we just open it up willy-nilly to anybody, there isn't any buy-in. If you have buy-in, if you have to pay a little bit of a fee to use it, you're more inclined to take better care of it. If you got people coming in, you know, just for the sake of coming in, it could degrade the building. So if we have an awful lot of people coming in, it won't handle that many people.
I think, you know, I think the fees are actually 25 for an individual, 40 for a couple. Do we have a separate fee for if they're under between 12 and 18? What is the fee for that? $10, 12 to 18.
The 17 is 10. Okay, I agree that the taxes pay for the fitness club. However, why should all the taxpayers be responsible for all the repairs and so on? Why not have the people who are actually using it pay a little bit towards it? And that's what that $25 is.
Right. Okay, so I kind of, like I said, I think the board was more or less, and I actually did poll the audience also, and I think almost every hand went up about eliminating the youth center fees, and I think about 3 hands went up out of, what was it, 18 people here last month?
Mm-hmm.
I think three hands went up about removing the fitness center fees. So I'm fine with that, but I also want to ask about why we're discussing these fees and get it all done at once. What do you all feel about the club membership fees?
What do you mean, club membership fees? Please define that for me.
The club memberships fees are, if you are a resident of Rainbow Lakes Estates, you can join as many clubs as you want, and it's $10 a year. If you're a non-resident, you can join as many clubs as you want, it is $15 a year. And what is the purpose of the fees?
Good question.
The fees were again to contribute to the club being able to use the facilities for their meetings and gatherings throughout the year.
You all know my position, man. I believe the fee is just an additional tax. But I also.
I'm gonna make it perfectly clear. I don't think we should have any of these fees, to be honest with you. We do pay it all in our taxes. And I don't believe that we should charge any of these fees. This is why, I know how I stand, but I'm deferring to the board.
But not all of you do. So so Union County and Marion County residents pay the general millage together. But Union County residents are not paying your recreational MSDU. So from a legal standpoint, you are charging Marion County residents to cover the use by residents that are not paying into that tax base. So that is part of the reason why when these fees were introduced, that was to capture that you're monitoring the amount of people that are coming in and out. That's why some of your events charge for non-residents and some are open to all members of the public. That is consistent with your Silver Springs fees, in your Silver Springs MSDU, and your Marion's MSDUs. So part of working with Katie and Municipal Services was that these fees are something that are gonna have to go in front of the Board of County Commissioners, because ultimately, they are the ones that should be setting the fees. And they're gonna be looking at what the fees are in the other jurisdictions. And again, Self is a public building that individuals pay general tax, and when you want to use it for a club or a meeting, you have to pay a rental fee. So it is for use of a building that this is what the purpose of it is. Now you want to have your fees balanced enough to where people want to use it, so they're low enough to attract some of those smaller groups. But you also cannot leave it just open for anyone and anyone to use, because that is not fair to those individuals that are not paying into it. So if you're going to eliminate fees, you need to keep in mind that you do need some way to charge to those that are not paying into the taxes. Because the person who lives just outside of Rainbow Lakes Estates MSD that decides to come over and use it is not paying towards it at all, not even in their general taxes. So keep that in mind.
Well, for the fitness center, that is only open to residents, but I also wanted to bring up, and Dan, maybe you should chime in here, because it's my understanding that Levy County is waiting for Marion County to send the paperwork so that the Levy County residents start paying the recreation fee.
So that is something that is required to be done by ordinance, because the ordinance was only adopted for the portions of the MSD that were in Marion County. So that again is an ordinance change. And so far, there has not been direction from Marion County administration to move forward with that ordinance change.
So just basic little math here. If 48 people use the Domino's Club in the month of August, so they met every week, 4 times. That's 12 members, paid $10 a piece, and paid $120. Pretty sure it didn't cover the electric bill, but I'm not complaining. And then the poker club at 21 members, that's 5 people.
I'm shocked they have that.
They had 5 people, so that's $50. So again, I'm saying, the fees are really not covering, this. It's more of a fee, to use. And so my question is, are we in line with Marion Oaks, which is the largest, probably, pretty good. The other Springs one. Are we in line with all the other MSDUs for their club fees?
For club fees, yes, we're matching the others.
So we're matching everything. And where do we stand on their youth center fees compared to what
They don't have youth center fees or a separate youth center.
Okay.
That was part of my recommendation, was getting more in line with them with removing the youth center fees. They do have a fitness center fee and they do have club membership fees.
So I'm confused, and I'm gonna ask across the board is, are we just trying to get rid of the fees just because we think it's a tax on the residents and they're already paying the tax? Or are we trying to not stay in line with the rest of Marion County MSTUs?
Well, I personally feel that it's double taxing, but I understand the point that they're making.
Right, but it can't be double taxing now if it's not double taxing for the rec center, for the gym. So I make a motion that we leave the fees the way they are, and if we're gonna drop the fee for the youth center so that we promote more youth to the youth center. If we wanna make it better, we learned something tonight, I would assume that we could do the same thing that we did for the cost of the residents to use the boat fee and change the fees and put the fees. I'm wondering if we could change the fees and put the fees before the board and not have to put it before the county.
So I don't believe, through all of my records, that the fees have ever been adopted by the Board of County Commissioners.
They have never been.
They have never been. So that was the first recommendation that I made, is that those fees have to be approved by the Marion County Board of County Commissioners. So again, looking for consensus tonight as to what you wanted those fees to look like, and then they'll go in front of the board. The board will ask, what are the fees for the other MSTUs, and those are going to be before the board at the same time. Obviously, there's some nuances, again, some amenities that are offered at Silver Springs, I think that are a little different maybe than Marion Oaks, but it is having them more in line with each other. But it does, from a legal standpoint, it has to be approved by resolution. Now, how often you change that resolution is really gonna come at whether or not the board wants to, Board of County Commissioners wants to adjust those fees. I can tell you the parks fees get adjusted about every 3 or 4 years. Animal services fees about every 3 to 4 years. Majority of our fees, it's about on a 3 to 5 year time frame, usually depending on what's the appetite for, like road services. obviously, everybody in this room tonight knows Marion County's growing, so now is a time where they're probably going to address what those fees are to be able to cover the cost of staff to be able to do certain types of applications. So it just depends on what what's going on with the community as to when we review the fees.
Just to go over it again, the fitness center fees are currently $25 for an individual, $40 for a couple, and a child between 12 and 17 is $10. The club membership fees are $10 for a resident and $15 for a non-resident. Okay. And the youth center fees are currently still $5 for a resident and $10 for a non-resident. And Steve, your motion is?
The motion I make is that we don't change any of the fees that are currently set. I think they're all within reason, and they all match the rest of the county. So I make the motion that the fees stay the same way they are currently, which is $25, $40, and $10 for the gym, all other clubs $10 and $15, and the youth center $5 and $10. That's my motion.
I second
I would second that. That's a formal motion.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye.
it.
Opposed? I'm opposed.
I'm opposed.
So, two opposed. Motion carries, so. I'm sorry, I don't believe we should be charging children.
And that's completely fine, and we can readdress it next month.
So just for clarification, when I prepare the agenda item and provide the Board of County Commissioners what the discussion was here, both Amber and your position is uncomfortable about charging.
For the youth center, the other things are fine, the other fees are fine, but I don't think we should be charging children.
No.
All right, moving on. Additional security and safety preventive measures. The board has been asked to consider ways to protect residents and prevent further vandalism, while adding cameras has been suggested. Ongoing internet issues limit this option. I've spoken with Chad Wicker and we've agreed on several steps regarding the Tiger Lake boat launch and community center complex. Chad isn't here today, and I wanted him to talk about what we had talked about, and he did mention a certain camera he's looking into. So I'm just going to move this on to next month.
I can confirm he's working with IT to get that camera that was suggested to us. It was actually used by another department that was facing similar issues. So we are going to have a camera at the boat ramp, and then we are working on the repurposing of the fences for the water line at the boat ramp. So we have our team measuring out how much we would have to repurpose and seeing if we have materials to go ahead and start that project.
Yeah, and we have the fence already from the one side of the boat ramp that was
Right.
here. We have a fence still there on the other side.
Yep.
And we discussed moving the fence away from the front of the district office and
Correct.
running it down Rainbow Lakes Boulevard here.
On
Right?
the boulevard, okay.
Yeah,
I was only looking at the boat ramp at this point.
yeah, and at the boat
Make
ramp,
measurements
at the
and
boat
find
ramp,
out
and
what
it
to
would either be a
repurpose.
fence or at least a barrier for vehicles.
Right.
Because maybe you don't want the fence. All right, so, all right. I was unaware you knew all this.
Yeah.
You're on top of everything today.
Mr. Chair, if I may, Dana Oleski again. So in listening to your meeting from last month and knowing some of the concerns that you have about the vandalism, it is very, very important you see something, say something. Because from a law enforcement perspective, if law enforcement isn't seeing it, it is very difficult sometimes for them to really make a case or be able to do anything with it. And in order for the county to be able to get any type of restitution when there's damage done, it almost always has to be coming from a criminal case. I will tell you that throughout the county, whenever we have a vandalism issue or damage to county property, we almost always get money back through probation or whatever the criminal act is. Sometimes nothing else happens to them except for having to pay the county back. So we're successful, but it's only when law enforcement is called almost immediately. So please spread that information and share. I know that today's time, some of us are a little reluctant to get involved because of some of the things that happen. But from law enforcement's perspective, it helps them tremendously to be able to get there as soon as possible, to build a great investigation, to be able to charge and follow through with charges.
Right, okay. And thank you for that. I agree with you. All right, moving on. New business board items. Prior meeting updates. Do any of the board members have any updates from previous meetings they want to discuss or raise other matters for discussion at this time?
Of course I did.
Steve, say your name.
Steve Strickhammer. I have a couple issues that are carryover from old business and then some new questions. First one is, Chairman, I'd like you to consider working with the staff and getting additional visitors, special guests out here, Animal Control, X-35, Ocala National Airport, the Tourist Bureau, those individuals to come out here and talk to us about what is going on. Code enforcement's a great one, about what is going on in our part of the community, western part of the county, and also what's going on in Marion County as a whole.
We've actually had some of them
I
out here.
think that's a great benefit to the residents here, and I think it's also a great benefit to this board to understand what's going on outside of Rainbow Lakes Estates. So I encourage you to work with staff and try to get additional.
We've actually had some of them out here before.
Minutes.
But I'll take that under consideration. Thank you.
My next question is for staff. How is the minutes compiled? How do you compile the minutes? Is it done digitally? Whoever the appropriate person is it done digitally?
It is done through recording, and then she does have now a dictation program, but she still has to look over that dictation to make sure there are no errors.
So she is, and we're talking about Tiffany?
Tiffany.
So Tiffany
Staff
is listening
assistant.
to the minutes and making sure that the software is adequately recording what is put down.
Exactly. She's making sure that the software, that the technology is doing what a human ear is supposed to do.
Okay, and I'm assuming that it's learning software AI, and so it's getting better as we're going along sometimes. Okay, so I want to say thank you very much, Tiffany. I know it's a pain, I understand, but it's still a pain, and I think that's great. Thank you for doing that. At the county level, what are any of the Rainbow Lakes Estates county truck routes on any of the repair lists for any time in the near future?
I do not know, but I can find out.
So the big one would be Marine, would be the question about, is Marine on the list? And then the second question is, if it's on the list, where does it stand on the list? And then I follow that question up with Rainbow Lakes Estates. What is the next road that is to be repaired or resurfaced or fixed that belongs to Rainbow Lakes Estates?
Wasn't that, didn't they read just a month or
We
two
do have it in the
ago?
5-year plan. I see Tiffany shuffling.
I thought so.
We have them all identified year by year in the
Well,
5-year
Susan,
plan.
I have the answer.
There we are.
So Southwest Tamarix Court, Southwest Wisteria, Southwest Viola, Southwest Shasta.
Are those, okay, are they all getting done in the next,
They're slated for this year.
this year being 2025?
2025, I have a 5-year plan here, so it's a 2025 through 2030. I have it broken down also by year. I'm giving you the ones that are in year 1 roads, which is what we're in right now.
Okay.
Okay?
Can I see that? Can I get a copy of that list?
Yes.
Later?
The Levy County side is 100th, which they're currently working on. Southeast 110th, Southeast 134th, Northeast of 105th, and Southeast 136th Terrace, which is an engineering issue.
Where
And
the side drops off, right?
no, it's, that particular intersection requires a culvert.
Okay, culvert, okay.
And then Southeast 124th and Southeast 123rd.
Okay.
It happens that this year, Levy County is getting the bulk of the road work, okay? But then year 2 and 3, it's predominantly all Marion. There's only one Levy County road. However, going back to your initial question about Marine, Marine does not appear anywhere in this 5-year plan.
Yeah, nor would it, that's not our responsibility. That's
Marion says, okay, so I appreciate that. I think that's great. Do we have, and it's all matching a budget, and we're not over budgeted on any of this, and we expect it all to come in?
No, as a matter of fact, I was just talking to Bill about that on a side note, earlier this week. And, because they were working on 100, which is right by me, and it seemed to be taking forever. You know, it's like they're repaving a road. So when I saw Bill, I was like, they've been out there for over a week. And he said, yes, they ran into issues because they started to do the grading and realized that there was not enough material on the road to be able to resurface it. They had to literally start from scratch.
1 inch.
Yes, exactly. So I'm concerned because those kinds of issues will impact us being able to stay on this 5-year plan.
Okay. I asked this last time, when do we expect the light installation to start? Just a guess. At 41 and
the traffic light?
What's that? The traffic light.
It's late summer or
Late
fall
summer
of next year.
2026. And then staff, I asked last month about the status of the lights. I see that some of them have been repaired at the gym. Are we still waiting for additional lights to come in? We are, so that's good. At least half of them have been fixed, but it's still dark when some residents are still using it.
So Miguel, our buildings and grounds person, did fix a lot of the lights. The ones that have not been fixed yet are beyond just replacing a bulb. There's something actually in the console that's wrong with it, so he's trying to figure out the next course of action, whether he needs to replace the base of the light or whether he needs to just replace parts of it, basically.
That's awesome, and I think he's doing a great job because they fixed half of them, so that's great. What's the estimate for the start date for the clubhouse?
I believe it's already started, right?
Yeah, it's already done.
It's already started?
Yeah.
It is started, yes.
And it's a 90-day run?
Yes.
90 days?
Was the estimate, yes.
And, okay. And then the last thing is, speed limit signs. From Seacliff to the Boulevard, Persimmon happens to be one of the fastest raceways on there. The other one is Ivy. Ivy's got speed limit signs on it. Persimmon does not. I know the speed limit signs cost about $1,000 a piece or something like that. I got passed on the grass on Persimmon, going to speed limit twice. So, is it possible that we could pursue the installation of 2 speed limit signs between Marine and Seacliff on Persimmon, one going northbound, one going southbound? Look into the cost and feasibility and whether or not that is something that we can undertake.
We can absolutely send it over to Bill's crew and have them look into it for us.
Chairman, that's it.
That it?
Thank you very much.
Anybody else? No. All right, I'm opening up the general public comment.
Steve Pattern.
My name is Steve Tappan. I live on the Park Lake, 24356 Southwest Shore Drive. I'm not comfortable doing this anyway, and I've lived on Little Barn for 4 years, and I feel like I should have the right to fish in it, and I see I'm in the wrong place. I'm sorry to waste your time.
I apologize, but I could not understand most of that. It was too quiet.
I'm done.
You sure?
What's the reason that you can't fish there?
He can't get access, turn the darn thing on. He can't get access to the lake. There used to be a ramp that the previous administration just obliterated, and now it's no longer usable. So you can't get a boat in there if you tried.
This ramp right here?
No, Little Bottom.
Little Lake Bonneville. Instead of going down the side like they did here, somebody had decided to just
So
cut.
unfortunately, I believe that everything that has to do with the lakes has to do with both state and federal EPA.
And the water level.
And the water, and Swift Bud and the rest of those people. It has to do with all of it.
Right, and the water level.
So I know that when I moved in here, sir, there was no water in the lake. Literally, there was no water in the lake.
When the fence was
When I
put up?
moved in. When I moved in 11.
2011, there was no water.
There was no water. So previously, there are two huge wells. There's an 11-inch well here, and there's an 11-inch well down at the other lake. And those wells were used to fill up the lakes here. So that's how the lakes got filled up. This one's closed off, it's filled with concrete. We now use it as a fire hydrant. And the other one back there can still fill that lake up, but it's a violation of EPA and Swift Bud and the rest of the stuff. So unfortunately, we're tasked with, we're beholden to Mother Nature to fill the lakes up. And we can't cut the grass, we can't cut the weeds, we can't do any of that stuff without a permit. That's been addressed many times in the past. So we're kind of stuck.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to bring up? All right. Okay.
My name is Brian Forbes from 4500 Freshwater Court. Thank you for putting the stone in the entranceway for the fitness club. Appreciate it. Is stone going to be put in where you park your car, where the mud is? First question. Second question is, how much money is in the fitness club account?
We would have to check and get back to you on that one.
Okay, because I know we need some more equipment in there.
Okay. We do have things budgeted for this fiscal year for new equipment.
Okay. Are there going to be free weights?
We actually have recently looked into that as well, so we're getting pricing on free weights.
Wait a minute.
So there would be.
Can we have free weights in there?
Not according to this board, we can't.
Why not?
Hang on, just hang in there. According to the board and the paperwork that's out there, there's no free weights, no movable weights allowed to be in the gym. That was the board before.
A former staff member is the one that said that risk management would not insure the facility if we had free weights.
We can have free weights now. That might have been changed since we have a wellness center with the county now, so that is.
Hey, I'm on board 100%.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, the question is now, is it budgeted? Okay, so I'm going to ask the question. New weights or, new equipment or additional equipment is the question. So are we budgeted for?
We have replacement equipment budgeted by line item in this current budget, and we're pricing out new equipment for free weights.
So is there a line for new equipment in the budget? There is. Awesome. And who's going to decide? How are we going to decide what equipment is purchased?
We're going to look at some pricing and then decide what's feasible right now versus what's needed. Any broken equipment, addressing that first. And then
Why don't we ask the club members?
I'm sorry?
Why don't we ask the club members?
We absolutely can.
So, Mr. Chairman, I think that right there is a good committee to be formed by this staff here to determine what equipment is needed, wanted, or warranted to be replaced and or new purchase.
All right.
We would also welcome just a suggestion box if fitness club members, when they come in, want to drop a note.
I do.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. That it?
Wait.
So, hang on, we got, go ahead.
We used to have a box that was in the fitness center, and if we could just revive that box. that would be
It's there.
It's still there.
Oh, it's still there,
Yeah.
okay.
Could I say something?
You have to come to the microphone.
I'm only taking
him still?
I'm only turn it off.
Pull it.
Is that better? Yeah. Just based on notes on this meeting.
Name and address.
Oh, Dave Carroll, 4500 Freshwater Court.
Thanks.
And I just want to say something in regards to the fitness center because that is important to us senior citizens. We talk about youth centers, but we are paying the bills, the taxes. So I'm getting back into working out, and I can tell you whoever maintains the interior of the fitness center, they do a fabulous job. It's so clean.
I agree.
The outside of the building, horrible.
I agree.
I agree.
We have 230 to 240 check-ins at the fitness center. How much income is a fitness center bringing in? So we have a lot of money to do stuff like free weights and paint that building because the fitness center is important for our health and well-being. Yeah. Okay, another thing. What happened about the boat ramp? Nothing's been said about the boat ramp, so I'm just curious, is that open or
Oh, the boat ramp, yes.
is it all set?
Yeah, but I don't think right now they can get a boat in it.
Oh,
Can they?
okay.
The water's too low.
Water's too low.
Can I also just say something else? I'm sorry, I should have signed in, but I see things and I have to say something. I just wanted just to say something on hearing what you said about the boat ramp. Did you ever think about closing the boat ramp? Don't shoot me. But if there's not enough water, you can't fish. We have to protect Rainbow Lakes. And we do walk, my husband and I walk every day, and we look at the lake and we do see it deteriorating. And there's not much water in there. That's one reason why I moved to a lake is because we could use it, but if we can't, how about we just open it just to a non-motorized vehicle, like a canoe boat and boats. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, that's, you're fine. All right, that's it for the general public comment, community announcements. Do any of the boards or board member guests have any announcements they would like to share?
I would like to thank the office and please let the building guys know that I appreciate the work they did on the fitness center. The fixing the driveway, that was kind of tough and appreciate that a lot. I echo the sentiments of this nice lady. Outside, it's deplorable. I mean, my God, there's snails crawling up the sides of the building. So, you know, we've got issues with all of our buildings. The problem, we've had past boards that have just let the money ride in the account, and all of our buildings are falling apart. They have been allowed to just turn into, they're gonna fall apart, and then somebody's gonna get hurt. And we need action and a 5-year plan. I've insisted on it, we're starting to get some action on it, but we're told that people, regular folks, can't do the work. Okay, well, so we gotta pay to get it done. Well, let's get some action going as far as taking care of our existing buildings. We need, take a look around this building here. Look at the tiles all around back there at the back of the building. Look at the back of the room. Now, I don't know if that's water, moisture. Sometimes these things it just happens in time. But things like this, in Florida in particular, we can't allow buildings to deteriorate. We've got to maintain them. It's not like you can just let it sit there and nature take over. Nature's gonna take over and we're gonna lose. When you see snails crawling up the side of a building, at my house I flick them off. But I don't dare do that at the fitness center because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want, you know, I'm getting in trouble for killing a snail, you know. But we have issues with every building and facility in the site, and things have gotten out of hand. We are not adequately taking care of the building. This building in back of us, the clubhouse, we're putting $217,000 into it. Had a roof been put on it by previous boards, we wouldn't have had to be doing that. That wouldn't have been necessary. And we could spend the money on something that people want to do. But now we have to drop the bucks on that because past boards were just too cheap. They didn't want to do the work. And it's all the board members in past are guilty. They bear some of the blame. We have got to take care of our facilities and do a much better job than we have in the past.
Well, I'm going to agree with George's remark that prior boards chose not to repair buildings and do proper maintenance, and now we are being hit with major repairs that every building here is going to cost several $100,000 to bring up the code, and that does not even include ADA compliance with the bathrooms and things. So I have to agree with that. You know, one of the things I'm proudest of since I've been on this board and these board members here is we have done away with the old boys club and given this board back to the people to hear what the residents here in Rainbow Lakes Estates wants. And I'm pretty proud that we've done that in the last 8 years. Okay, moving on. The RLE plan swap is Tuesday, October 21st and November 18th, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. in the community center. Trade plants, discover new varieties, and connect with fellow gardeners. The Halloween Spooktacular at Rainbow Lakes Estates is Saturday, October 25th, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the RLE Community Center Complex. Join us for our 4th annual Halloween event. The Fall Craft Festival is Saturday, November 8th from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Community Center Complex. Indoor and outdoor vendor spaces are available, reserved by Monday, October 20th through the RLE District Office. The next coffee and conversation is Wednesday, November 12th, 9 to 11 a.m. at the RLE District Office. Join the advisory board members and staff for coffee, community updates, and casual conversation. Stop by any time. We all look forward to seeing you. The Youth Center Super Saturday is Saturday, November 15th, 12 to 5 p.m. Bring the kids out, enjoy activities, and be part of the fun. The Youth Center is a perfect spot to relax, play, and connect. Our next advisory board member will be Thursday, November 20th at 6:30 p.m. here in the community center. Thank you all for coming, and we look forward to seeing you next month. This meeting is adjourned.